Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today makes 5 months that I have had these locks, braid locks, for 5 months. It is update time. It's time to get you all caught up with what's been going on with me and my locks. My last update was at 3 months and a lot has happened since then. So let's get right into it. Okay, so there are several things that I want to talk about in this video and several things that have happened over the past 2 months. And I want to, or at least that I have run across or thought about in the past 2 months, and I wanted to make sure that I talked about it in this video. So the first one, I wrote them all down in my phone so I can remember each and every one of them so I wouldn't forget anything. So the first one, I'm just going to go in order, in no specific order. The first one is in the back of my hair. There are some locks that have straight pieces on them, and I'm going to try to find them for the video. Like this one is a good one. This one. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that straight piece on the end, hanging off the end of that? There's others that are like that one. They have like stringy pieces on the ends. I don't know if you can see it in that or not. But like there are ones that are kind of okay at the end, like this one is okay at the end. You see that one? That one's curling up and curls up fine. But then you get to ones like these that are okay. This one seems to be okay too. This one has like a squiggly part and then just like this little piece right here on the end. That's okay. But then when you get to these ones that have these straight hairs hanging off of them, let's see if I can find another one. Like this hanging off the end. Like, I seriously want to cut that. I really want to cut that off because it in the back it don't seem like it's necessary. It doesn't seem like it's going to lock up, bind around into the lock. It's just a straight piece hanging it. All the rest of the lock where that straight part is, I can't even find it anymore. Let's see if I can find it. Here, this. All the rest of the lock where the straight part is, can you see it? There. All the rest of the part where that straight part is all okay. Let me get a piece of paper so you can see it. This, you see this straight part right here? That part I feel like I could cut off because this part right here, where the curl part is still intact. But then you have the straight part hanging off the end. See that? So with that, I feel like I could cut that part off and be good, but I'm going to leave it. For now, I'm going to leave it. That is just something that I've noticed that has been happening in the back of my head. The second one is locks in the front. Now, right around the front, here's one right here that's kind of, let me get the paper again, that's kind of short. Like, it came all the way unbraided. And it was just loose hair right there. And I'm like, how did that happen? Where'd that come from? There's also some on this side. Now, it was this one at first. It was a piece of it in this one. But I combined it, half of it in this one, and the other half is still loose. So I left it loose so I could show you guys what I was talking about. Like in this one, here's the hair here, if you can see it. It's just loose hair. I don't know where it came from. I don't know if a lock broke off. I don't know. It looks like, based on how the part is right there, it's fairly straight when I put half up here and half down here, that it came from the locks and they just kind of, and that part just kind of slipped out. So for now, I just twist it back up in there until I'm able to interlock my hair, and I'm just going to interlock this half back into this lock. And I already interlocked this other half into this one to try to see if it was going to work, and it looked like it worked pretty good. So as far as this one is concerned, that's just going to be my baby. From now on, I'm just going to have to baby it, make sure it gets back intact. I went ahead and rebraided this one. That's why it's done now, because I rebraided it to make sure that it got a new start, not just hanging there. So, and it's doing okay right now. I've washed my hair since it's been in there and it hasn't come out. That is it on the locks around the front. My front is kind of sensitive. I wouldn't necessarily call it losing locks because they're still there, but I don't feel like they were the same as they were when they were installed because I had to go back and reinstall them. So that's the deal on those. The next topic is self-retightenings. Lord, I don't know. I have told myself that I am going to self-retighten my hair from now on. I've always done my own hair, even when I had relaxers. When I had relaxers, I always did my own hair, all the way back to that time. So the only time I've gone to a salon is when I really needed to have a trim when my hair was relaxed, when I needed to have my hair trimmed. There was one lady that used to trim it almost the entire time I was relaxed, at least in the latter years of it, 5-6 years straight. One lady that would trim it because she agreed that if I washed it and went to her salon with my hair wet, she would blow dry it, trim it, and let me walk out the door. She wouldn't have to style it. She wouldn't have to do anything to it because I did all of that myself, and I didn't really want to sit there and have someone do it. I have never ever, almost never, gone to a salon and loved the result when I came out. I always enjoyed doing my own hair, and it always liked the way it looks when I did it myself, so I always styled it myself, curled it myself. Now fast forward to when I was natural. I went to the salon one time when I first got my big chop. I had her cut my hair. She cut it so uneven. It was all over the place, a disaster. That was my cue for that. Do not go to a salon again. You can figure this out. You can do your own hair. Let's do it. So I got in there with products, figured out how to do it, and I did it. And I was able to be successful in doing my own natural hair. Now we're fast forwarding into locks. I have these locks in, and I keep telling myself I can do it because I feel like I probably can. Now it's going to take time. I probably could have installed them myself, but I just said, you know what, I'm going to let someone else do it because I didn't want to do all that parting. But now that I have them in, I always said from the beginning of the installation of these locks that I wanted to be able to maintain them myself. It's just something that I've always done. So that's what I have agreed to do. I have bought all the products to do it, or all the necessary tools, I should say, to do it. I have a mirror. I have the lock tools, which I have an easy lock tool. I have a metal tool that I got online. I also have a yarn needle that I had cut off and kind of filed down to try to get it to do what I needed to do as far as retightenings were concerned. And I saw videos on YouTube for that. So I do have that. I have scissors. I have everything in a bag and ready to go. I probably will do a lot of my retightenings at work because I do kind of have some downtime in between what I do at work that I can get some of it done. And I really don't care what people think about what I look like and all of that, because I am well beyond that. I don't care what nobody thinks about what I look like. I can be looking crazy as hell and I don't care what they think. So I know that I can get a lot of it done at work. So that's what I plan on doing. I will make sure to update you all on how that goes for me when I decide to do it. I got another 2 weeks or so before it needs to be done, so I will be sure to update you all when I do it and try to film as much of it as I can. The next thing is braid pattern. Let's talk about braid pattern. Now, the braid pattern has been a source of lots of concern for me. Now, I don't know why. I don't know why, because honestly I feel like it is going to be okay. But the braid pattern, I don't want to be obvious later on down the line. Once the interlock starts to grow out, I don't want it to be obvious, that the braid pattern to be obvious. Now that is always a concern of those of us that have braid locks. Will the braid pattern go away? I feel like in my heart that it will, but that does not stop the worry until it does. If that makes sense. It doesn't stop the concern that will it go away. Now, when I am on the street, no one knows that they are braids until they get right up on me and start looking like, what's that? Are those braids? Oh, those are braids. Are those sister locks? They don't know what it is. You know, they all think it's sister locks. Even me from a distance looking at myself in the mirror, you cannot tell it's braids. You can tell it's braids when you get closer, but honestly, even when you're with me in person, you can't see the braid pattern that much. So I honestly feel like it's not going to be much of an issue, and I need to just chill and trust the process and move forward. So that's what I've decided to do. Let me just be honest. I tried to take down one of the braids and try to undo it and twist it, because I felt like maybe I could twist it and would give me a more consistent look. Child, that took almost 15 minutes to get that one braid down, these little bitty braids. I'm good. That told me right there, girl, you tripping. You need to leave that alone and let the process play out and see how it goes from there, because at the end of the day, it's all hair. You know what I'm saying? It's just hair. If it doesn't come out right, guess what? I'll just cut it, start over, or whatever, because I honestly don't see myself doing anything else but locks these days, because this is the most convenient thing I have had in my entire life. Even if I have to go and cut it all off, let it grow out and start them all over from real small ones, that's what it's going to be, because I'm not getting ready to be doing all this with hair and all that detangling and all that. Ooh, I don't miss it at all. The next thing is brushing the locks. Yes, I said brushing the locks. What I have been doing in order to try to keep my hair frizzy, or try to help the frizz in the braid locks, because the braids tend to stay put. So in order to encourage the frizziness, in hopes that the frizz will go around the lock and make it look less noticeable that they are braids, I have been brushing them. Yes, I have been brushing the locks. I use a regular boar bristle brush like this. Pretty simple. And I just take the brush and I do like this. Like that. In sections all over my head. And that's it. That's what I do. And it actually seems like it might be working. Some of the locks are frizzy where they would normally not be, and they do have a lot of frizz around them. I don't know if you can see. So I don't know, I do it every time I wash my hair. Periodically, sometimes I do it through the week. And I was reading online that brushing your locks could be helpful because it helps to get rid of lint. I don't sleep in a satin bonnet anymore because it's too hot. I don't like it. I sleep on a satin pillowcase. So that, in that case, it helps to get some of the lint out, which I haven't really had much problems with lint. I'm going to be honest about it. I really haven't had many problems with lint so far, but in the long run, they say brushing does help with the lint. I think it can't hurt anything, so I'm going to keep on doing it, and I'll let you all know how that plays out. The next thing is around the edges. There are some locks that are really small in size. Let me see if I can find them. Around the edges, like here. See this one here? How this one is really small compared to one like this. No, like this. See the difference between these two? See the difference? So around the edges is where those little locks are at. Let's see, it's probably another one right here. This one's not quite as bad, but all of these little thin ones compared to this, where you can see the difference. You see that? So, and they're around the back as well. So let me show you around the back. You see how this little one shrunk? These little ones around the back all shrunk up to little bitty ones, which they were kind of thin at first too, so that's fine, they'll grow back in. But these around the edges, you see how this one is thinner around the edge, the hairline, these are thinner like that. So I'm not sure if I'm going to combine those. I'm feeling like right here in the front that I'm actually going to combine some of the, like this, like these little smaller ones. I'm just going to combine it with the neighboring lock and see how that goes. So I'm not sure how I'm going to do that yet. I'm going to think about that for a little longer. For right now, I'll leave it, but that is something that I'm going to consider doing sooner than later, so that they can have the opportunity to grow together and be the same or similar size as the locks surrounding it. So that's what I'm thinking about with those. The last thing I'm going to talk about is coloring my hair. Now, I haven't colored my hair since I have gotten the locks installed, which was May 30th. I've decided I am not going to color my hair anymore because of the fact that once I interlock them, you can see my gray hair in my head is pretty much concentrated to right here at the top of my head. I'm starting to get some around the edges, starting to get some up around the edges, but they're not very noticeable. The main noticeable part is right in the center of my head. If I part my head down the middle, see, you can see all of that gray. And I've talked about the gray hair before, and honestly, once the retightening happens, it's not so bad. When the hair is growing in, it's more obvious when the hair is growing in, but once I get the retightening, it's not so obvious, and honestly, it doesn't bother me. Right now, it's not bothering me. Maybe it's not bothering me because I know I can do like this, and it disappears. So maybe when that doesn't happen anymore, maybe it might bother me more. But for right now, it doesn't bother me because I can cover it and it's not quite as noticeable. Like if I wear my hair like this and it's out, I'm like, I don't really mind it. I think it probably will look good once it grows out with the gray hair right there in the center like that. So I think it'll probably look good. So for now, I'm not going to color my hair anymore. I'm just going to leave it. But overall, I am still loving the process. My locks are doing great. Well, I'll show you all. My grid is still there. I am right now about 4 weeks in from a retie. Everything's intact. I'll show you the back. Hopefully you all can see. And on this side, all the grid is still there. So on to the next couple of months. Winter is coming up, so I'm probably going to have to up the moisturizing routine, which I probably would just go to adding oil a couple more days out of the week. I don't add oil at all in between washes that much. I oil my scalp, but I don't add oil to my hair much at all between washes because it's so hot and the sweat and oil just happens, period, regardless for me in the summertime. But in the wintertime, that's a different story. I don't want dry scalp or anything like that, so I probably will incorporate more things like that as the winter months come along. But for now, that's it. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, please let me know, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye for now.